From the quiet darkness of space, the alien commanders stared at Earth's small blue and green planet that looked simple and harmless. Around a glowing hologram, they stood in silence, their eyes cold and unreadable. One of them sneered, tilting his sharp-featured face as he tapped his claws on the metal table. "Another backward world," he said with a smirk. "It won't take long. Let the new recruits practice here." The others agreed. Earth seemed like an easy target, just another primitive species to conquer. Their machines looked ancient cities still running on fuel and metal. Airplanes with wings. One officer, Vaughn, chuckled. "Look at them, still flying with engines and gas. How adorable." The Supreme Commander Sith waved off the incoming reports. "Same old story," he said. "Weak defenses, disorganized military. They'll fall without a fight." He had crushed dozens of planets before breakfast. Earth would be no different, or so he thought. But soon, strange reports started coming in. Scout ships were facing ambushes. Humans were not fighting with brute strength but with clever traps. Small squads struck from forests. Narrow city alleys became deadly choke points, and their crude jamming devices were disrupting alien scanners. Sith shrugged it off. Fear makes them desperate, they'll break soon. But they didn't when the first wave of alien dropships stormed through the clouds, darkening skies over cities and farms. They expected humans to run, to scream, to surrender. Instead, they found barricades made of cars, furniture, anything people could find. Traps were hidden in schools and churches. Civilians armed with kitchen knives, glass shards, and homemade explosives stood ready. The aliens had superior weapons, armored suits, guided missiles, but humans refused to give up. Reports started flooding in. Alien patrols vanished in sewers. Drone convoys were blown up by roadside bombs. Elite alien squads were picked off in the night by farmers using hunting gear and walkie-talkies. Sith's confidence began to crack. Every village they captured cost them double in soldiers. Every human retreat was a trap. Every attack felt more organized than the last. The humans were learning fast. "They're watching us," an alien analyst whispered. "They're changing, adapting." Panic spread not on Earth, but among the invaders. This wasn't the weak resistance they had expected. This was something else. A field commander, after losing his entire squad in a booby-trapped hospital, said it best. "They fight like they've got nothing left to lose. Like hell is home for them." Sith couldn't understand. Why do they keep fighting? "We've bombed their cities, cut their supply lines, taken their resources. Yet they still push back." But humans didn't need orders. They formed underground resistance groups. Farmers became battlefield leaders. Teachers managed supply chains. Even children risked their lives, carrying messages through war zones. The more the aliens attacked, the smarter the humans became. Every street turned into a deadly maze. Entire cities became traps. Tunnels under their feet became secret barracks. The aliens destroyed Earth structures, but not its spirit, and that was their biggest mistake. But their spirits didn't break. And that's when the aliens realized they weren't dealing with a weak, primitive race. This was a species shaped by hardship. A people who had survived wars, disasters, and endless struggles. Humans were used to pain, to fighting for every breath. They weren't just using weapons. They were fighting with their hearts, their minds, and anything they could get their hands on as the days passed. The aliens began to fear the night, not because humans had better weapons but because when darkness fell, that's when humans attacked. Silent, precise, unstoppable human eyes watching from the shadows. Human minds planning moves the invaders couldn't predict. And then the aliens understood something terrifying. You cannot defeat an enemy that grows stronger through suffering. You cannot conquer a species that refuses to kneel. Earth wasn't a battlefield, it was a forge, and humanity. Humanity was the fire burning within it. The alien commanders, once so confident, now whispered in fear. Their glowing maps, once covered in victory marks, were now stained with red zones of resistance. And the humans were the reason it was filling up. News of alien attacks on cities spread like wildfire. But humans didn't wait for orders. Resistance groups miles away responded instantly, not through commands, but through instinct. Their strength was trust, friendship, a shared goal. Aliens couldn't understand this. They realized too late this was never a training mission. This was a graveyard in the making. How could humans fight so well without a central command? Where was the chain of command, the hierarchy? But humans didn't need it. Every man, woman, and child became a soldier on their own terms. They fought because they believed in their cause, not because someone told them to. The alien strategists were baffled. Every time they studied humans, the picture got blurrier. Human soldiers didn't break after defeat. They grew tougher. Some alien scientists even wondered, did trauma make human brains stronger under pressure? They discovered a horrifying fact: humans could push themselves far beyond their physical limits. No alien species, no matter how advanced, could match that endurance. It wasn't about muscle, it was about spirit. A deep-rooted will to survive and adapt. Aliens watched in disbelief as humans, with no advanced weapons, started dismantling their superior technology using makeshift tools. They built deadly traps using nature itself. Their creativity became the aliens' biggest nightmare. Every new strategy the invaders deployed, humans countered with something the aliens couldn't predict, and that's when alien forces began to crack. Their ranks, once unified, became filled with doubt. Alien commanders started to question their own leadership. Why couldn't they inspire such loyalty? Were their values flawed? Facing the unstoppable human spirit, what began as a simple invasion turned into a crisis of identity for the aliens. Desperate to crush this rebellion once and for all, the alien command decided to unleash their ultimate weapons devices that had wiped out entire civilizations. They believed this final blow would end humanity's resistance, but as they prepared to strike, they failed to notice that humanity was already moving, quietly, cleverly, ready to turn the invaders' greatest weapon against them. But intelligence reports revealed a shocking truth. The humans had seen the attack coming. Long before the alien strike began, humanity had adjusted. They fortified key positions, set traps, and turned every battlefield into a deadly maze. When the assault finally came, the invaders didn't find a broken, scattered resistance. They found defenders calm, precise, and devastating. Every alien advance was met with brutal ambushes. Humans countered with the skill of veteran soldiers. Civilians once seen as helpless, now fought with the precision of a trained army. They moved as one, reacting instantly, without hesitation. This wasn't survival anymore. This was a well-planned, merciless defense. The aliens, frustrated and confused, found their most advanced weapons useless against human determination. Every strategy they tried fell apart. The harder they pushed, the stronger humanity pushed back. Alien units that once marched in proudly were now forced into retreat. Human fighters had learned everything about their enemy. They struck at weak points, exploited gaps, and surrounded the invaders with surgical accuracy. What was once a primitive species had now become a lethal, coordinated force. This war wasn't about superior technology anymore. It was about who could adapt faster, and humanity's creativity turned every scrap, every tool, every ounce of terrain into a weapon. The aliens were stunned. This wasn't brute force, it was ruthless, intelligent warfare. In a final act of desperation, the aliens launched an all-out assault on a major human stronghold. They believed this would crush the resistance once and for all. But they were wrong. As the invaders stormed the stronghold, they were met not just by soldiers but by civilians young and old. Entire families standing shoulder to shoulder, defending their home with a courage the aliens had never seen. In alien culture, sacrifice was a warrior's duty. But here, everyone fought. Farmers, teachers, children, together. This shattered everything the aliens believed about warfare. Humans weren't fighting for conquest or glory. They were fighting for love, for family, for survival. And that made them unstoppable. An alien commander, watching the battle unfold, finally understood. Humans didn't fight because they were ordered to. They chose to. Their strength came not from weapons, but from a shared will to protect what mattered most. One by one, alien units fell. Not to advanced technology, but to the raw resolve of a united people. The alien forces crumbled. Their invasion failed. Earth stood unconquered. The proud invaders, once so certain of victory, retreated defeated and humbled. They had come expecting to dominate a primitive race. Instead, they met a force no weapon could destroy, a species whose greatest weapon was its indestructible spirit. As the alien fleet fled, they finally understood. Humanity was never the galaxy's deadliest warrior because of its machines. It was because of the fire in its soul. No strategy could predict it. No weapon could break it. And no enemy would ever be ready to face it.